We continue now at the top of Daf Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph and Meseches Menachos. This is Menachos Daf 37a. On the previous Amud, the Gemara brought a brisa which discusses the obligation to put tefillin on the left arm. The Tanna Kama says the way we know that it is the left arm is because it says yodcha, it says your hand, and in general, anytime it says yad in the psukim, it refers to the left hand because right hand is always specified as yamin or yamincha. And the brisa continues, Rabbi Yossi HaChorim Omer, Rabbi Yossi HaChorim says, Matzinu yamin shenikra yad. We do find sometimes the right hand is referred to as yad. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, Vayar Yosef ki yoshis aviv yad yamino. It says yad yamino, it says the word yad, and it says yamino, it's referring to the right, and so therefore Rabbi Yossi HaChorim is arguing against the Tanna Kama. We do find that the word yad refers to the right hand. But the Gemara continues and says, V'idach, now the other Tana, the Tanna Kama will respond to that. Yad Yamino Ikri, the right hand is called Yad Yamino, but Yad Stama Lo Ikri, it's not just called Yad unattributed, and so therefore if it just says the word Yad in the pasuk, it doesn't say Yad Yamino, again according to the Tanna Kama, that refers to the left hand. And the Gemara continues, Rabbi Nosson Omer, Rabbi Nosson says, this is a continuation of the Brisa, Rabbi Nosson says, Eino Tzarech, it's not necessary to bring the proofs of the Tanna Kama, because Harehu Omer, because it says in the pasuk, Ukshartem, Uchsavtem, it says you bind the tefillin, and it says right, and we understand the following from that hekesh, from that comparison, Maksiva biyamin, just like when it says Uchsavtem, when it talks about writing is done with the right hand, Af Kshira biyamin, so too the binding of the tefillin should be done with the right hand. V'kevan Kshira biyamin, and since the binding, the tying of the tefillin is done with the right, so Hanacha bismolhi, so then we know that the placing must be on the left arm, because if it's being placed upon the arm using the right hand, obviously the tefillin is being placed upon the left hand. And Rashi explains, Rabbi Yossi HaChorim says again that we find Yamin is called Yad. Rashi explains Chotmo Meshuka, this refers to, the word HaChorim refers to a blemish that's mentioned in the Pasuk in the Torah. Chotmo Meshuka means that the bridge of the nose is sunken in. Kedamrinan beBechoros, like we say in Bechoros, Chorim Zesha Chotmo Meshuka, that's what it says in Meseches Bechoros, that a Chorim is somebody who the bridge of the nose is sunken in. Tosas note, Rabbi Yossi HaChorim, Perish Bekuntris, Rashi explains Chotmo Haya Shakua, that Rabbi Yossi HaChorim, that his nose, the bridge of his nose was sunk in, Ke'ein Chorim de Bechoros, like the blemished individual called the Chorim that's mentioned in Bechoros. But Tosas asks, V'teimahu, it's a wonderment to say this, Lomar Shekineu B'Loshen Genai, to say that they gave him a nickname that was like a degrading nickname, that doesn't make sense. El al Shem Mekomo Nikra Kain, rather Tosas say that he's called Rabbi Yossi HaChorim because of the place that he came from. And we should note that some explain within Rashi that Rashi doesn't mean this was an attribute of Rabbi Yossi himself, but it could be Rashi's referring to the fact that Rabbi Yossi taught a halacha with regards to Chorim, and that's what it means when Rashi notes the Chotmo Meshuka in Meseches Bechoros. And Rashi continues, Matzino Yamin Shenikra Yad, we find that Yamin is sometimes called Yad, Velo Yalfina Mehachen, so therefore you don't have the source of the Tanna Kama according to Rabbi Yossi HaChorim. And Rashi continues, Maksiva Biyamin, just like writing is with the right hand, Keshekosvin HaMezuzah, the pasuk of Uchsavtim is talking about writing mezuzah. When one writes the mezuzah biyamin, it's done with the right hand. The rov b'nei adam kosvin biyamin, the majority of people write with their right hand. Af kshira nami avid kasher biyamin, so too the binding, the tying of the tefillin is done with the right hand. Umi the kasher biyamin, and if that's done with the right hand, the binding, mechlal hanacha b'smol, that would imply that it's placed upon the left. Di hanacha al yamin shuveno yachol lekosher biyamin, because if the tefillin shal yad would be put on the right hand, it would not be possible to bind it with the right hand, that would not be possible, and so therefore that indicates that it's upon the left arm. And the Gemara continues and asks, for Rabbi Yossi HaChorim, and Rabbi Yossi HaChorim, Hanocha de V'smol Minole, where does he know that the tefillin is placed upon the left arm if he rejects the source of the Tanna Kama? And the Gemara continues, Nafkale Mehecha de Nafkale Rabbi Nosson. He learns it out from the same source as Rabbi Nosson. Again, Rabbi Nosson in the Brisa learns it out from Ukshartem Uchsavtem. And the Gemara continues, Ravashi says that Rabbi Yossi HaChorim has a different source, Mi Yodcha, he learns it from the word Yodcha in the Pasuk, where it's spelled with a Chaf Hey, the Yodcha spelled Yud Dalid Chaf Hey instead of Yud Dalid Chaf, and Ksiv Behei, and so if it's written with a Hey, what do we understand from that? We understand Keha, it refers to the hand that is Keha, the weaker hand, and therefore that refers to the left hand. But the Gemara continues, Amarle Rabbi Abba Ravashi. Rabbi Abba says to Ravashi, V'emo Yodcha shebekoach. Maybe Yodcha If it says Yud Dalid Chaf Hey, we take the Hey and instead we read that as a Ches. Sometimes the Hey is interchanged with a Ches, and then it would be Yodcha Shebekoach. The word would be Koach, meaning your strong hand, referring to the right hand. Maybe that's what Yodcha with a Hey means. And the Gemara continues, Amar Lei said back to him, Miksiv Beches, is it written with a Ches? It is not, it is written with a Hey, and therefore we understand Yad Keha, it is the weaker hand. And the Gemara continues, Kitanoi, let us say that this is a Machlokas Tanoim with regards to whether we darshan Yodcha with a Hey in this fashion. The Brisa says Yodcha Behei, it says Yodcha with a Hey. Tanakama says Zu Smol, that's a reference to the left hand, again the weak hand. Acherim Omrim, others say Yodcha, it says Yodcha with a Hey, that's L'Ravos HaGidem, that comes to include the Gidem, that's the amputee. There's a discussion among the commentaries exactly how much of the left arm over here is amputated and what exactly are we including. And the Gemara continues, Tanya Idach, we learned in another brisa, Ein lo zroa, if he has no arm, pater min tefillin, and then he's exempt from tefillin. Acherim Omer, others say, Yodcha l'rabos hagidim. Again, the word Yodcha includes the Gidim. And Rashi explains, Mi Yodcha Behei, from the fact that Yodcha is written with a Hey, Mi Dechsiv Behei, from the fact that it's written with a Hey, they take out the word Keha over here, from the fact that it's written with a Hey, Mashma Loshan Nekeva. So it's understood to be a Loshan Nekeva, the feminine, Shma Mino Bismol Kamar. And so from there we see that it's the left hand, De'in Ba Koach Kenekeva, that doesn't have any strength, or it doesn't have as much strength, Kenekeva, like a female. And Rashi gives another explanation, Lishna Achrin, another explanation, Yodcha, Yad Keha. We darshan Yodcha as a Yad Keha, the weak hand, Imya Below Koach, again it means without strength. Kitanoi, let us say that it's a Machlokas Tanoim, Di'iko Tana Diyolav Smol Mi Yodcha Kiravashi. There is a Tana that learns left from Yodcha with a Hey like Ravashi. V'iko Delo Yolaf, and some do not learn like that. L'Rabos Es HaGidem, to include the Gidem, to include the amputee, She'ein Lo Yad, he doesn't have a hand. The Yodcha, the Mashma Yad, Ritzutza Umekolkeles. There, according to this, the word Yodcha is Mashma, that it's a damaged hand. And Rashi continues, Ein Lo Zroa, he has no arm. Again, small, that's referring to the left arm. And the Gemara continues, Tanu Rabbanon, the sages taught on a brisa, Iter, with regards to an Iter, that's a person who is left-handed, Meiniach Tfilin Biyamino, he places the tefillin on his right hand, Shehu Smolo, which is for him his left hand, that means to say, that is his weaker hand. The Gemara continues and asks, V'atanya, but we learned in a brisa, Meiniach Besmolo, he placed it on his left hand, Shehu Smolo Shel Kaladim, the left hand of everyone else, and so that directly contradicts the first brisa. Amar Abaya says, Kitanya, that brisa is referring b'sholet b'shtei of somebody who uses both hands, somebody who is ambidextrous. And Rashi explains, Yamin shel iter, the right hand of the iter, have a smol l'didei, that's actually his left hand, that's his stronger hand. Hoel v'rov kocho b'smolo, since most of his strength is the left hand, essentially the left hand for a lefty is treated as the right. B'sholet b'shtei yadav, and the second brisa is talking about someone who's ambidextrous. Sheshtein shavos lo b'kach, they're equal to him in strength. Dekevan da'af b'yamin nami sholet, since he's able to use his right as well. Hilkach meinicha b'smolo, therefore he places the tefillin on his left arm. Lefi shehi smol l'chol adam, because that's the left of everyone else. V'afagav d'ledidei have a yamin, and even though for him that is ki yamin, that is like the right. And the Gemara continues, Tana Devei Menashe was taught in the yeshiva of Menashe. Al Yodecha, the pasuk says, the tefillin shel yad are placed on your arm. Zuki bores, this refers to the bicep. Bein einecha, and the tefillin shel rosh, it says between your eyes. Zukadko, this refers to the crown of the head. The Gemara says, Heicha, where is that? Amri Devei Rabbi Yanai, they say in the yeshiva of Rabbi Yanai, Mokom shemocho shel tinok rofes, it's the part of the head of the baby that is soft. And the Gemara continues, Bamine Flimo me Rebbe. Flimo asked Rebbe the following question, Misha yeshlo shnei rashim, if someone has two heads, be'eza mehen meiniach tefillin, on which one of them does he place the tefillin? Amar le, so he said back to him, Rebbe said back to Flimo, O kum gali, either get up and exile yourself, O kabel Allah shamta, or you should accept upon yourself to be excommunicated for asking such a question. Rashi explains, O kum gali, O amud v'tzei begolis, either go to exile, O kabel Allah shamta, or you should accept upon yourself excommunication. Da'achuchi chaychas be, you ask such a question, it's like you're making a joke of it. And the Gemara continues, Adahachi, in the meantime, Osahu Gaver, an individual came, Amar Leini said to him, Isyalid li yanuka, I've had a child, the Islay Trey ratio has two heads. So Kama Ba'inan Lamesav Lakohen, how much do I need to give to the Kohen? As far as Pidyon Haben is concerned, it's generally 5 sloim, but now it's 2 heads, maybe it needs to be 10 sloim. Asahu Saba, a certain elder came, Tanale, and he taught him, Chayev Litein Lo Yud sloim, that he's obligated to give to the Kohen 10 sloim. Rashi explains Eser Sloim, the Chad Bechorhu ve'Islei Trei Reishi. This is one Bechor with two heads. V'chashiv Kitrein, and it's considered like two, and so therefore it's not 5 Sloim, it's going to be 10 Sloim. V'Afal Gav Dioledes Tu'umim Lo Yoev Elahei Sloim. Now, even though one who gives birth to twins, so it's only 5 Sloim, Kedamrin Beperak Yesh Bechor Lenachal, like we say in Perak Yesh Bechor. Afilu Achi, nevertheless, Hasam Hu Mishum Di Efshel Etzamtzem. There, it's because it's impossible to be exacting. But over here, Chadhu, it is one. The Efshel Etzamtzem Sheyatzu Ke'echad, we can say that they came out at exactly the same time. V'havishneim Peter Rechem, and therefore they're both considered to be the Peter Rechem, the one that opened the womb, and so therefore it is going to be 10 Sloim. But the Gemara continues, Ini, is this really the case that it's 10 Sloim? V'atani Rami Bar Chama, but Rami Bar Chama taught, Mitoch shenemar podo sifta es Bechor ha'adam, from the fact that it says one must redeem the Bechor, Shomea ani, so I would think, Afilu nitraf besoch lamed, even if the baby was ravaged by an animal within the first 30 days of birth. Talmud Lomar, the Pasuk says, and Rashi explains, Shomea ani afilu nitraf nerag besoch lamed yom nami, if the baby's killed within 30 days also, chayiv, maybe there's still an obligation. The Afagav Dechsiv, even though it's written in the Pasuk Uftuyav mi ben Chodesh Tifta that it says the redemption is from 1 month, but Afilu Hachi, nevertheless, Hacha Ikol Amemar, here one can say, Im lo nerag, had the baby not been killed, Havachai Lamed, it would have lived for 30 days, Uvechor Ma'alyu, and therefore it's considered a genuine Bechor, a genuine firstborn, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Lamed Zayin Amid Beis.